What's going on, guys? Just getting our Facebook community also on. Let's see, get that ready. All right. YouTube is live. Give me one moment. Darn it. To get Facebook coming and joining in. How is everybody today? What's going on, Cindy Buckner? How are you? Life is going on. Doreen is on. Stacy Combs, good to see you. T. Gray, how are you, my friend? Craig Wood, hello. Can't believe it's Sunday night already. All right. Go live. Hiya, hiya, hiya. What's going on? Howdy, partner. What's going on, Kristen? Hello, old school. Aliens. Michelle, how are you? My God, everybody downstairs has got to be quiet. 55 in the 80s rock. I love it. What's going on, Denise White? Hello. Tony Vasquez, hello. All right, we're live on Facebook now as well. Welcome to the wonderful world of Generation X. The weekly dose of just getting together with all Gen Xers. All Gen Xers are invited. Boomers, you want to come along, you'll relate to some of this. Elder millennials, you're more than welcome to jump in. Dan, the breaking news man, what's going on? I'm just a Bill. He's just a Bill. I'm a Jono. But glad to have you all on. Facebook should be on. Just waiting to see. Not seeing anybody over on Facebook yet. All right, well, we'll see what happens. What's going on? How are you, Meg? Can I repeat? Dude, I can barely see that. I really need to get my font a little bigger on that phone. Tawny, what's going on? If am I pronouncing that correctly? Good to see you. Looks like Facebook's jumping in. Big Dan coming in from Oswego. You guys finally done with the snow? You guys got hit hard this year, if I'm hearing correctly from some friends. Wirehead backwards day. Facebook isn't showing that I'm live yet. People are jumping on now. I see my buddy Andrew. I see my friend Chris. We're going. It's on. Sunday night. Once again, every time I turn around, it feels like it's Sunday. Weeks are just going by faster and faster and faster. Tamara Johnson coming in. Julie, hello. Am I a coach? I'm not a coach. I'd like to be a coach. I'm not good enough at sports to be a coach. I'm a fan. I'm a follower. I'm those things. What's going on, Henry White? You know, it's funny. We can start off by just saying how time is so weird to me right now. My memories, I've been making some content, and I made some content relevant to Steven Spielberg's movies, The Goonies, and Jurassic Park. And not at all anything to do with the video that I made, but I mentioned that The Goonies is going to be 40 years old this week, right? This summer. When it's released this summer, it's going to be 40 years. Jurassic Park is going to be 32 years old this year. There's only 8 years between those movies. And when I say that time is kind of breaking for me, is kind of warping for me, The Goonies, 40 years old, honestly to me feels like it's closer to 20 years old. The Goonies feels to me like a 20-year-old movie. Like I think back and the nostalgia hits, and it's definitely vintage. And when I think how long ago was 1985, I'm thinking 20 years ago. And Jurassic Park was released yesterday. Is it just me, or does it feel like when things like that come up, it just doesn't compute? Those two movies, The Goonies, it's just weird to me that they're only 8 years apart. They feel like they should be 20 years apart. Tammy Elaine, how are you? Dale Wine, how are you, coming in from Indiana? Let's do the time warp again, says Kimberly. It just feels weird for me. There's certain times in my life when a year lasted forever. And then all of a sudden that time thing happened. So when we were 10, 12, 15 years old, a year seemed like it was such a long time. Summer vacation just went on forever. And then at some point things shifted and changed. But I think that in between those years, there's this compression of time that happens. I just cannot fathom that. I can almost believe the Goonies was 40 years ago. It feels like 20 years ago. I cannot fathom Jurassic Park was over 30 years ago. That doesn't compute in my brain. Lord of the Rings is 24 years old? Dude, that doesn't seem right. It's going too fast. It is. I just celebrated 5 years of not smoking. And I think on the 20th. It was 5 years since the day when I last had so much as a single drag off of a cigarette. And when I look at that, I'm like, okay, it feels like it's been a long time. So it's not all things going by quickly, although I will tell you out of nowhere today, about 20 minutes ago, I had one of the strongest urge attacks on where I wanted a cigarette. And I haven't had that happen in forever. But it's like I had that thing where I couldn't breathe for a minute because my chest got tighter because I wanted a cigarette. And those are few and far between, but holy moly, that hit me hard today. I lost my dad in 81. He was only 51. That seems amazing. Does it seem like forever ago? Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, everybody. I need to quit drinking Mr. Pibbs. Well, is that like Dr. Pepper? Have not had a smoke in 20 years. That's amazing. I'm weird when it comes to being an ex-smoker. You'll talk to a lot of ex-smokers who will tell you exactly how much they enjoyed smoking. They will tell you they enjoyed the taste, the smell, the interaction within their brain, the taking out the cigarette, packing the pack, lighting it, smoking it, I didn't enjoy anything about smoking. I didn't enjoy being outside in the rain and having to smoke. I didn't enjoy feeling uncomfortable during my daughter's plays or musicals, or tracking even a movie would be difficult. If it was a long movie, I struggled. What are my tips for someone trying to smoke? You're not going to like it. There's only one. Put the cigarettes down and don't pick them back up. No matter how much it sucks, no matter how bad it is, the number one reason people go back to smoking, in my experience, is they leave the door open for going back to smoking. Because if you think of the reasons people fail after a day or a week or a month, it's I was doing all right until this happened. Something bad happened. Something rough happened. I got stressed. I got hungry. This person died. Something happened. They left the door open that I'll quit smoking unless it gets too hard. If you close that door and say, it doesn't matter how bad it gets, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm done, you'll be done. And you'll knock down those triggers one by one. A new trigger will come up and you'll pass it. That's it. Tammy Lane says I was a secondhand smoker until the age of 19. It sucked. I remember hating when my parents smoked. Hating it. I just remember slamming them. And like we hated it in the car. We hated it in the house. Windows rolled up in February. It sucked. And then somewhere that changed and we started smoking too. A lot of my friends all hated the fact that their parents smoked. And then somewhere along the line, we became smokers too. Good for you, Yvonne. It's almost like $100 for a carton now. I'll tell you my statistics. Had I not quit smoking 5 years ago, I've got a stat tracker. If I had not quit smoking on March 20th, 2020, then between then and now, I would have smoked over 46,000 cigarettes that I have not, in fact, smoked. I would have spent over $13,400 on cigarettes. Now, mind you, money I didn't spend on smoking, I don't know where the hell it went. It's not sitting in my bank account accounting for it, but that was it. Cannonball Joe says, I heard you mention I finally saw Fast Times at Ridgemount High. I did. And I didn't say whether I liked it or not. Well, that's the thing. When I said that, hey, Maddie, what's going on, buddy? When I said that I'd never seen Fast Times at Ridgemount High, I guess I meant to say I never saw it from beginning to end in one sitting. That's one of those movies that I think we've all seen. You might have watched it from the beginning and then had to leave halfway through, and then saw it at another point halfway through and watched it to the end. So I'd seen it, and if I'm being completely honest, there's one scene that I saw repeatedly over and over again as a young teenage boy. So yeah, I've seen it. Hey, Jim Burtz, what's going on? And I did like it. I did like it. What's going on? Deborah Mott, good to see you. Elizabeth Culver, thank you. There's actually a link in the description of both YouTube and Facebook. If you guys, I just launched a new merch shop, and it's not merch like some people, some creators will create merch that has like their logos on it, and you can show what a big fan you are by wearing their stuff. That just seems weird to me. I personally wouldn't really wear somebody's logo. I mean, Nike maybe. But like, I love Slim Sherry. I love GenX Shell. I've got a lot of people I follow personally. I'd never really wear their logos on my shirts. But if you like a lot of the shirts I wear, like this one, that are just kind of either make fun of, laugh with, celebrate Generation X, or are just nostalgic, then you can find it at that link. It's also in my link tree. Glad you're not, Colin says, glad you're not smoking cigarettes anymore. I haven't smoked once in my life, but rode in a smoker's car. Have I heard the band Haywire? I have not. Is it good, Colin? And thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I made a note of it. Andrew, my Goonie friend, just ordered some shirts. I like them a lot. They make me happy. I got a care package of them from my company that I get them through. They're from TeePublic. They are made in the United States and Canada, so it's fairly local. They are from sustainable sources and resources that's important to you, and try to make them as reasonable as possible. Hello from Embarrassment. Is that from Minnesota? I couldn't tell. I saw an M, and then it flashed by. I have the same Blockbuster t-shirt you wear in some of your YouTube shorts. I love that one, too. Did I get that from the last Blockbuster in Oregon? I did. I ordered it directly from there, actually. Made from real stuff. Thank you, Leslie, for the share. I appreciate it. You have Schoolhouse Rock on VHS. I just did a video, if you haven't seen it yet. I released it about an hour or so ago, and that's why I'm wearing the shirt. It's on Schoolhouse Rock, and how I think it's time to bring it back. And I've got a lot of teachers that follow me that say they still use Schoolhouse Rock. They've got the DVDs. They share them with their students. I have people saying, no, I shared it with my kids. I share it with my grandkids. The video speaks to the fact that it's not enough to share the old Schoolhouse Rock with kids. We need new versions. We need, it can't just be the civics lessons we saw. I'm just a bill. We the people in order to build a more perfect union. It's not just that. We also need new ones. We need Schoolhouse Rock to come back and teach our kids how to tell time. There's got to be a big-ass analog clock and a really catchy song about what it's like to tell time. We need a Schoolhouse Rock cartoon to do basic geography for these kids. What's going on coming in from North Carolina? I appreciate you, lady. I appreciate you so much. Conjunction junction, sure, but I think our kids are still getting that. They're not getting basic geography facts. They're not getting how to tell time. Certainly not getting the how to write in cursive, which is my default, I was just noticing. Is it just me? Or do you guys write in some sort of print-ish, cursive print mix? Like a deportation song? No, Matt, nothing like a deportation song. Thank you anyway. But yeah, I honestly think that would be a great thing because school can't fill in all the gaps, and it never did. We grew up in an era where school taught us like facts. School was where we learned reading and writing and arithmetic and health class and all that stuff. But there were so many other places that we learned. We learned through Schoolhouse Rock. We learned through after school specials. We learned by watching public service announcements. This is your brain on drugs. It's like there was this entire community that came to fill in the gaps for us. Because when we were growing up, there were a lot of gaps. Our parents weren't sitting down and having discussions with most of us. You know, we learned a lot on our own, and then we had help. Help coming from TV, from the radio, from all kinds of places to fill in the gaps. Definitely not. Adolf says art school rejected me. I wasn't even allowed to apply, dude. I wasn't even allowed to apply. I drew the little teddy bear thing. I did what I could. I tried to apply to the school, and my parents would not allow it. Even though it said that if I could draw that teddy bear, if I could draw Tippy the turtle, if I could draw the pirate, and I drew all of those things really, really well, exactly, the turtle, that I had an in, and they should have let me, but I never did. I've got, let's see, Ferdinand Smith, buddy, you're gone. Blocked. I love it when scammers make it very easy to block them out. I had the nerve to even try. I still write in shorthand. I don't know shorthand, but what I was saying earlier is I just remember at some point, I know a lot of our teachers wanted our papers in cursive and legible and us to take our time. And a lot of, yeah, I got rid of him, Tammy. Thank you, though. I eventually just, that morphed where now I don't actually print, but I don't do cursive either. It's like this blend between the two. Some letters connect, some letters don't, and it is literally driving my kids crazy. My kids did learn cursive, but as much as we give Gen Z and Gen Alpha flack for not being able to read cursive, a lot of what it is we do isn't exactly cursive the way we learned it. I mean, I would challenge some of you to know what do you guys know what the letter Q, the upper case letter Q in cursive? It's basically just a giant number 2, but I don't know anybody who does that way. We kind of just personalized our own little yes, Amy, I feel cursive is faster too because the pen doesn't come up off the paper. But yeah, the big Q is similar to a 2. There's a couple of them that I don't think anybody really does the way that they're taught to us. But I loved learning cursive. I remember playing school and staying after school in grade school and taking that thing that the teacher had, which allowed for the spots for the three different pieces of chalk, and you'd put it in, and that allowed you to make the 3 lines on the chalkboard so that you knew how big to make the letter. It's pretty cool. James says, I like the letter Z. The letter Z may be my favorite cursive letter now that you mention it. I like the letter Z as well. Fairly partial to the letter J, but I don't make my J the way the cursive J is. So that one I've personalized as well. Jeannie half writes and half prints. Rhonda says, loved Schoolhouse Rock. I learned a lot. I mean, honestly, if you ask kids today what the path is for a bill to become a law, would they know? You know, and I don't know that they would know, but we know because and it wasn't civics class in school so much. I mean, there was part of that, but I learned more about civics watching Schoolhouse Rock. And I can still remember so many of I love the adjectives one, conjunction, junction, lolly, lolly, lolly. Get your adverbs here. The math ones, we all still count the way we learned to count. It is on Disney Plus. It's not the same. It's not the same streaming it and just having it pop up. Like specials, whenever they showed themselves, were special. Television, whenever it popped up and you didn't know, like I didn't know when Schoolhouse Rock was coming. I recently did a video on Saturday morning cartoons, and only today did I find out that it was actually scheduled. It was on the TV guide when it was going to come on. I had no idea. I was just sitting there watching the end of Super Friends, and all of a sudden Schoolhouse Rock popped on. I didn't know it was scheduled. I'd watch a little bit longer, and all of a sudden, it's time for Timer, or Yuck Mouth, or How to Brush Your Teeth. These things are some of my favorite memories, and I just love singing it. And as much as it's cool that Disney Plus has it available to stream, it's not the same as just sitting there as a kid, inches from the TV, bowl of Fruity Pebbles in my hand, soft Afghan on my lap at 8 a.m. and just seeing it live and waiting for it all week. My opinion says I miss MTV videos before they got lame. Same thing. We didn't know what was coming next. We weren't on YouTube looking up Thriller and watching it on demand. We were hoping it would come on. That to me was really cool. My Goonie friend Andrew says he still watches Saturday morning cartoons on YouTube. Again, it's just, and of course it's different. Still has his Trapper Keeper. I have mine right over there. We played Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader at work meeting, and the kids I work with were shocked at the stuff I knew about. we know about so much. We're older than Google and almost as smart. There, I just made that up. I like that. That might be a t-shirt. GenX, older than Google and almost as smart. We retain the information we learned. And part of it, Mary Ray, thank you so much. Here's the thing about Schoolhouse Rock. We watch those little cartoons over and over again. At the time of the week when we were totally locked in and focused. Then we went to school and got lessons in grammar. I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate all of you. And I see those on Facebook subscribing as well. And I really appreciate that too. You guys make it possible for me to do this. And I can't tell you what it means to me. I really can't. I appreciate you guys all so much. Every week, I make sure that come hell or high water, I'm here on a Sunday. And this is part of the highlight of my week. I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope you never, ever feel like I'm going to Greenville, South Carolina in a couple weeks. I'll be there Friday and Saturday. I think it's the 5th and the 6th. Maddie Gordon, my best friend in the world, says that's an awesome quote. Almost older than Google and almost smart. Yeah, I like it too, Maddie. I'm going to Greenville, South Carolina for the South Carolina Comic-Con. I am a huge Trekkie, and Star Trek The Next Generation is going to have some people there, and I kind of want to see them. Vicki Lawrence is going to be there from the Carol Burnett Show. Believe it or not, I'm kind of excited about that. If you guys are comic geeks, if you're near Greenville, if you're going to be there, I'll be there Friday and Saturday. My point is this, always feel you can come up to me. I love meeting you guys. It's the highlight of any day. Hey, Joan, how are you? Is when you guys see me and feel comfortable coming up and saying hello. C2E2, LA, I would love to. I just don't know that it's in the cards. We're trying. Brian, I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I'm excited about Vicki Lawrence. We were little, we were kids, but the Carol Burnett Show is one of my favorite memories, but it's like I have categories of memories. There's the memories of the things that I personally enjoyed, right? And they're mine. $6 Million Man, Star Trek, Bionic Woman, Super Friends. That's my stuff. And that's one category of nostalgia that I keep. The other stuff is like the Carol Burnett Show, Mama's Family, I Love Lucy, the Waltons, Lawrence Welk, stuff that I may not have realized that I appreciate at the time, but they are the nostalgic memories that I will take with me forever from my parents, from my mom specifically, being that little kid watching with them. And it's just different. I'll take that in a purple shirt. It might be available in purple, Mary, M. Sherry. I'm not sure. Let me know. I think I put this one out in almost every color. The Waltons was good. I hated the Waltons at the time. Little House on the Prairie, I actually loved, but it was traumatic as hell. I appreciate that, Nene. Variety shows were awesome, Sherry. Absolutely. And they were fun. And there were a lot of them. We watched Sonny and Cher. We watched Captain and Tennille. Brady Bunch had a variety show for a minute. Brady Bunch, Carol Burnett, Captain and Tennille, Sonny and Cher, Donnie and Marie. There were more. There were so many. Hee Haw, the Mandrell sisters. Good one, Stacy. Good one, Beth. The Osmonds came on and had one. I think at least for specials, the Jacksons did as well. Tony Orlando and Dawn, I'd forgotten about them. Colin, since I was born and raised Greek, I was wondering if you grew up hearing much of the stories from Greek mythology. Without a doubt. My parents didn't help me much with homework, and I think that's probably something we share. Most Gen Xers that I know, homework in school was our job. Our parents did their job. They expected us to do ours. So yeah, they would help us with homework if we really needed it, but most of us really, really didn't want them to feel like we needed them because their help was almost the worst thing you could have hoped for. But to answer your question, whenever it came to a Greek mythology portion of school or I brought anything like that home, my parents were all over it, especially my dad. Number one, to tell me how wrong the school had it, and he would correct it. But I got into it. I read a lot of it. I totally appreciated that stuff. Homework helps, says Bridget. What's that? My opinion, thank you so much, bro. Thank you, brother or sister. I'm not sure based on your name, but I appreciate you, man. The Gong Show, I'd forgotten about that one. Jerry Lewis, MDA Telethon. Cool thing about that was it went super late. getting help. We didn't really listen. They got frustrated with us. Now, listen, I help my kids with homework and I'd get frustrated. It takes a lot of patience, especially because they're always recreating how to do stuff. So you go to help your kids and you find out that, okay, the math I did isn't how they're teaching it anymore. But my parents had very, very little patience. Did I ever play the big green box at the street corner that was 30 degrees warmer than the current temperature? The big green box. No, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. Joan says, I love mythology. Joseph says, I had to do my homework. Both parents were teachers. Oh, I can't imagine. Sherry says, nobody helped me. It was my dad helping me. If you think you holding your flashlight for your dad was tough, dad helping you with homework was even worse. It was just so bad. Thank you, Kristen, for that. Okay, and Kristen, so I want to make sure you're still mod, and you are. My dad was also a history teacher. Everyone wanted to be in his classes. I couldn't imagine having a parent for a teacher. Matt Gordon likes turtles. The chocolate kind or the walking slowly across the street kind? They're teaching kids differently than we were taught. Yeah. And I was okay with that. I kept an open mind. And we've talked about it here before. Some of Common Core, I just don't believe is developmentally accurate. I don't know who came up with it, but I have a hard time believing they were teachers. It's sound in terms of how we think and learn as adults, but not necessarily as children. So I think the Common Core, as it was produced in New York State, at least I can speak to, was developmentally unsound for most kids. Benny Hill and Porky's. The other thing, kids can't spell today. And I thought it was because of spell check and automatic spelling check. That's not it. It's because most of them didn't learn to read phonetically. There was a big push for sight words and basically memorizing words and grouping as a method of teaching. How about the new ABCs? I think that's so stupid. And I've had some teachers come at me and say that if you were English as a second language, you would understand why we teach it that way. Breaking up elemental P. But they break up elemental P, but if you listen, there's other groupings in there created. Anytime you sing, you connect consonants, you connect separate words. It's performative, in my opinion. A lot of what's done today is performative. It's, in other words, look what we're doing. Look how, and that's on both sides. You will never hear me pick a political side on my show, on my page. I refuse. I have 2 political t-shirts I own. One is Reagan Bush, one is Clinton Gore. I won't, and not because I am going to tell anyone who I agree with, but they were very, very big parts of my childhood. That's the only reason I have them. It's the only reason why they're in my merch store, because they were huge chunks of my childhood. The Reagan years, no matter what you think about them, I could point to pop culture. Nancy Reagan saying just say no. Nancy Reagan spending half the national budget on her dresses. Nancy Reagan forcing people to check Ronnie's astrology chart before plotting anything. There's a lot to unpack there. And if you're like, I don't want to talk about Ronald Reagan because I hate Republicans, you're missing out on a lot of great pop culture. And the Clintons, seriously. It may still be too soon to talk about the Clintons. I've barely scratched the surface about talking about the dress or about, come on. Come on. That's amazing stuff in history. It just is what it is. You gotta laugh at it. It was amazing. So yeah, but getting back to performative, both sides are just yelling, look what I'm doing and how important I am. And it's just done for effect. And the new ABCs, I think, were just done for effect. And they've been around for a while. Here's a fun fact. Did you know the birth years for millennials were already calculated and that they would be called millennials even before us Gen X were recognized and called Gen X? Didn't inhale. Good one, Yvonne. Miss Cleo, I'm dead. Clinton was my president because he was pro-environment. Great. Awesome. And it is what it is. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. I've never dug too deeply into see what was done. And I don't care. Not here anyway. You know where I care? I care when I go in the voting booth. I just saw an episode of The Wonder Years. My 13-year-old and I are in the last season of The Wonder Years. We rewatched the whole thing from the beginning, and she loves it. And there was a episode where Kevin asked his dad who he was voting for, Nixon or McGovern. And he said, when I close that door behind me in the voting booth, the only person that I am accountable is myself. He goes, you don't ask people who they voted for. I'd love to go back to that. And that was, Wonder Years is 30 years old now too. That's the way I want it to go back to being. It's my business, not yours. And it shouldn't matter. Wirehead, get out of my head. Tipper Gore versus D. Snyder. D. Snyder, dude. Man, if you have not seen D. Snyder testifying in front of Congress, talk about a master class in just putting congressmen of both sides in their places. Teresa Gordon says, I like a president who likes a good blowy. Did Matt take over your chat, Teresa? Winnie Cooper. Yvonne, let me say something. So we're watching The Wonder Years. I don't remember Winnie being as preachy as she was. I'm watching episode after episode, and she is constantly like on Kevin. Like, and now, granted, Kevin's a lot dumber than I remember him being too. Some of the stuff he does is just like you just scratch your head saying, what the hell are you thinking, kid? But man, number one, Winnie dated a lot of guys. Kevin was all over all the girls throughout the entire show. And both of them were just at different points in time a little annoying. James says, yeah, she's a total jerk. A little bit. And I remember having a huge crush on her, but damn, she was a little bit of a jerk. If you have it, and she's a great Gen Xer. She just turned 51, the actress, and looks fantastic. I think Kevin also Gen Xer. I think he's 48 or 49. So true. Now family be fighting over politics. It doesn't have to be the way. Doesn't have to be the way. First of all, nobody ever changed anybody's opinion by posting something on Facebook. That's step one. You can do it. You have freedom of speech. Just know that it's not going to change anyone's mind about anything except maybe you. And I don't know that I want to change people's opinions of me. I want them to judge me by my acts and my deeds and how I treat them, not necessarily by how I voted once. Isn't she a published mathematician? Ooh, my age 51. Charles in charge. I remember that. Snyder took Congress to school on so many levels. Dude, who would have ever thought? Like, such an intelligent man, so well spoken. And again, guilty of judging a book by its cover. I expected him to sound one way, and then I was shocked. Danica's a mathematician. It's very cool. Kind of like Blossom's a genius too. Wasn't Blossom like a neurobiologist or something like that? Winnie has an equation named after herself. Like me or not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Good call, Cindy. I don't know. Somebody once said, and I took it to heart, that your opinion of me is your business, not mine. Do what you can to be a good person, to stay a good person. Follow, if you don't follow anything else in religion, follow the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I see a huge push towards people saying that respect is earned. When I grew up, respect was freely given to everyone, but could be lost. Personally, I preach to go back to that a little bit. Give respect to everyone you see. Treat everybody with respect. Give them the opportunity to keep it or lose it. You guys can have Winnie Cooper. I am Team Topanga all day. Roger, funny you mentioned that because we are in the last season of The Wonder Years, and on deck is going to be Boy Meets World, which is Fred Savage's little brother. So we're going to watch that next. I watched a little bit of it. I was older by that time, so I haven't seen it. George Costanza was a marine biologist. He was also an architect and an importer-exporter. We got a lot of Team Topanga. Captain Kirk looks good for his age. A little off topic, but we switched topics here pretty damn quickly. Looks amazing for any age. The guy's like 91. Thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. I think there's a lot of people like me. I think given the opportunity, most people will surprise you in good ways. Acknowledge you, you're a dinosaur. Okay, you're acknowledged, dude. Rexy the Trex. 94? Is he really? Trying to think if he's going to be at this convention that I'm going to. I can look it up, but I've got my phone here and my computer here, so I guess I can go on my other computer. If anybody looks up South Carolina Comic Con, it is in Greenville, South Carolina, April 5th and 6th. Again, I will be there. If you guys are there as well, make sure to message me, comment on some of my posts that I'll be putting up, and we'll get together, take a picture, hang out. And you're a woman that named her daughter Topanga. I'm sorry. Don't think it's a pretty name. I guess it's okay. Mike Rowe did an awesome interview with George Costanza. Shatner is 94. He's coming to a convention. I don't know if it's Greenville or if it's a different one. You know, there's another convention coming to that I think I'm going to hit. It's called Galaxy Con in North Carolina. And that's the one that I know for sure Shatner will be at. I have to see him at least once. Roger, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Do kids watch movies in school anymore? They do. It's kind of easy. They just stream them on the smart board. But again, I don't think it's the same thing. Movies were more rare for us. Larry is my cousin, not a joke. Larry Bird, very cool. He'll be at one in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm sure for a fact he's going to be at Raleigh, and that's close enough that I'm going to go. Thank you, Michelle Laura. I appreciate that. Joan, thank you. I appreciate that as well. Manners, respect, common sense, courtesy, all of that is gone since COVID. No, it's not, Stacy. I promise you it's not. It looks like that. It feels like that. It seems like that. It's not all gone. What year was I born? I was born on February 1st, 1970. Nene says, do your kids go with you to your conventions? MegaCon in Florida, I took my oldest daughter. She helped me film some content. They're not thrilled with going with me. We don't like the same things. My youngest would in a flat second. John Carpenter and Weird Al also at GalaxyCon. Cool. Yeah, Cleo all day long. My 13-year-old who's finishing up homework, or she would be on with me now already. She loves this. She loves all of you. She loves reading comments. She really enjoys this part of it. My older daughter's more private. But sometimes if you Google my name, you'll come up on a video that helped start it all. And that was a video I recorded of my older daughter during COVID, strangely enough. And it went viral, got placed on the Today Show. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it. You can get one for yourself at my merch store. Cleo has spring break in April. But yeah, I got like 41 million views. It was featured on the Today Show, a bunch of different shows, just her being surprised during COVID. We had her best friend at the time come and catch her and see her and surprise her, and it was pretty cool. And she got a taste of the ugly side of social media. It exploded so quickly, and it was a beautiful video. And she's a beautiful young lady. And unfortunately, the bad side of things are that sometimes beautiful young ladies have to deal with crap they shouldn't have to deal with. People can be assholes. And so that really gave her a very bad taste on it. I shield Cleo as much as I can, but she's a different kid. My daughter took a semester of keyboarding. They used their Chromebooks to do an online course while a coach who didn't know how to type hung out with them. P.S. Wesley Crusher is my first TV crush. TV crushes, that's a topic. What do you all, let's see. My first TV crush might have been Christy McNichol. Later on, maybe Cheryl Ladd in 5th grade. I remember having a thing for Cheryl Ladd. I guess I liked older women. I liked Samantha from Gimme a Break. That was a big one for me. I'm seeing Davy Jones, James Garner, Cindy Buckner coming in with Eric Estrada. Will Wheaton, Caroline Monroe, and Star Crash. I don't know that one. Victoria Principal on Dallas. Really, I could see that. Scott Baio, I'm sure that's a big one. I remember having a crush on Joni. Blair from Facts of Life. Heathers, I loved that flick, my opinion. Daisy Duke was a big one, without a doubt. Again, older woman, though. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that so much. Paisley. Appreciate the sub, Paisley. Thank you so, so much. Susan Day, that's going back a minute. Shelley Hack is an interesting take. She got really just slammed on Charlie's Angels. By the time she came along, they sometimes horribly, wrongfully refer to her as like the ugly angel. Because all the other angels, Cheryl Ladd and Jacqueline Smith and Farrah Fawcett, were just so larger than life beautiful. And for whatever reason, some people didn't think Shelley Hack fit in the same mold. But I always thought she was pretty. Mark Paul Gosselar, another Gen Xer. Linda Carter, yeah, Victor, I'm with you on that one. Beautiful to this day. Both the girls from the Breakfast Club. Z Gamer coming in from Argentina. Good to see you. Luna Stars, hello. Good to see you. Roger Brown had 3 crushes. Pamela Greer, Linda Carter, and the odd one, Joyce DeWitt. Again, beautiful, but usually one of the other girls got all the love for most people on Three's Company. I was into goth, so definitely Winona Ryder. I could see that, Brandon. Lonnie Anderson, Jan Smithers, a little bit of WKRP coming in. First TV crush, Angela Blackburn saying Scott Baio, Sean Cassidy, and of course, Donny Osmond. Then you know what's cute is they're still, I mean, in a way they're still doing that. The formulated, but not like we had it. I don't know where are young girls, like I've got a 13-year-old, there's not a single poster on her wall. By 13, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you, I mean, I know I had Farrah Fawcett on my wall by 14. I had Daisy Duke on my wall. I had Heather Thomas on my wall, Samantha Fox on my wall. I know girls had Leif Garrett, Sean Cassidy, Jameson Parker. I'm sure that all of them, but they were easy because we had magazines and just took them right out of the magazine, or we'd go to Spencer's, and I can still hear that sound in my head that as you flip the posters, just flipping the click, 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 click as you flip the posters, see what you want, or we won them at carnivals. If you didn't win a poster, then you won the band mirror. But all of those, I loved swap. Now, my mom being Greek mom and wanting a home that was completely and totally sterile, I was only allowed certain spots where I could put posters, so I had to flip them out often. I was allowed a poster on the back of my door, never on the wall, or they could be on the inside of my closet doors. So I had to swap them out a lot. I had a pegboard that I hung up. I was allowed to put a couple posters there, and that was about it. LA says, John, I bragged about your mom today. I'm sure she would love to hear that. She's feeling a little under the weather today. I was allowed to have Spuds McKenzie on my wall. That's a good one. Dude, but posters were like if you look at Facebook walls, or kids will decorate their Instagram wall now. They'll have permanent fixtures on their phone, what their wallpaper is. That was our wall. When our friends came into our bedrooms, it was important that they saw what they saw. And the irony is, I've got to be honest, there were probably a poster or maybe 2 that, let's say I probably would have liked Journey more than Metallica, but it was cooler to have a Metallica poster up than a Journey poster. It was Styx would lose to Iron Maiden just based on coolness. And I remember that. I remember that meaning something. Sometimes it was who we liked, and sometimes it was who we wanted our friends to think we liked. I was always a lot softer than hard rock, but I went with it. If you stand, your legs won't bounce like that. I can't believe you realized my legs are bouncing. All right. Also, if I stand, I've got the webcam on. My other phone didn't work, so I had to use my Facebook on my laptop, which is why I'm not standing today, but my leg is constantly bouncing. I used to get spanked for it. Do you have posters and frames in stores in the U.S. growing up? We did. And once I graduated and went on to college and had my first apartment, that was how I decorated my first apartment. I was really big into movie posters. I had Field of Dreams movie poster, Batman 1989 poster. What other one did I have? Back to the Future, The Goonies, Bouncing Legs, Potassium Deficiency Signal. Maybe Wirehead, but that's probably not what it is in me. It's an ADHD, can't sit still, has a mind of its own. If it's potassium, then I've been deficient my entire life, no matter how many bananas I eat, because I've been doing it since I was a child. And I can shake the whole house. My wife will yell downstairs when I'm doing it up here. Tell John to stop bouncing his leg like you. And my oldest daughter picked up my habit. She does it too. Just energy. I don't even notice I'm doing it, much like Angela just said. It just goes on its own. Go Cubs, fly the W. Jaw's a great poster. Good one, Andrew. Dealing with sciatica right now. That's got to be horrible. Mr. Kotrides, do you need to go to the little boy's room? No, I'm good. Did somebody just sub over on Facebook? Guys, thank you for that. Who's on the wall behind me? Right here is the Goonies. Restless leg syndrome. Thankfully, I don't have that. First concert was Jimi Hendrix. That's very cool. Yo, 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 what's up? JT gifting 5 memberships over on the tube. God bless, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Those that were just gifted will now see your name in lights. Trying to read and catch up. I need a Conan poster? Okay. I remember watching all these TV shows. However, I didn't understand English in '83. TV, well, thank you for the 100 stars, Dirk Benedict. No, wait. Yvonne Hampton, thank you so much for the stars. Dirk Benedict from A-Team and the 2 Corys were her crushes. Just working on a video that I haven't put out yet, talking about why us Gen Xers are so cynical, why we tend not to believe things that take things at face value, why we're hard to sell to. And part of the reason is how often we were lied to in our formative years. The silliness of every Saturday morning cartoon selling to us. The comic book ads selling us X-ray glasses that weren't X-ray glasses. You know, sea monkeys that were supposed to be pets that could be trainable, which were nothing but dust on water. The infomercials that came later. And one of the big things was, Bridget, make the Smoky Blues so much, Monday Blues so much better. Thank you. You're welcome. Sunday, Monday Blues are a thing, and I appreciate the support. Yeah, we're tough to sell to. But a big part of it also was that I remember everybody, when we were finally old enough to actually dial the phone ourselves, the 1-900 numbers came out. And I looked it up. Everybody had one. Hulk Hogan had one. The 2 Corys had one. Every pretty girl on television had one. Michael Jackson had one. Vanilla Ice had one. New Kids on the Block had one. And they all promised the same thing, that for $3.99 for the first minute and then 99 cents each additional minute, you could get on and talk to me live. And I'll tell you all the secrets about what's going on. And I got to be honest, I don't remember who I called, but I got suckered in for at least one of those. Because I don't remember the phone call, but I remember the beating I got when my dad got the bill. They all came at us. They all knew that we had more money in our pockets than brains in our heads, because we had been working since we were 12 and had our own money. And so now as adults, no, we're not so easy to sell to. Grant Moore is saying, birthday shout out to Stacy Tuesday, pretty please. Happy birthday on Tuesday, Stacy. My wife's birthday is on Wednesday, Grant. She is in good company. Thank you so much. I'm Rob. $3.99 coming over on YouTube. Freddy Krueger had one. They all did, dude. They all did. And these were like huge stars that I would think they didn't need money. Yeah, get your parents' permission. Dude, Khan just absolutely nailed it. Make sure to get your parents' permission. Meanwhile, I'm already 7 numbers into the 8 to call. Freddie had what? A 1-900 number. I don't know how they got away with it, because they literally lied. They literally said, I'm on waiting. They never did. Jono has fast fingers. Fair enough. Thank you so much, Grant. Appreciate it. Battlestar Galactica ruled. I'm rewatching the 1980s version of it. It's pretty good. It holds up. Thank you, LA. False advertising to the extreme. Well, that's it. All of it was. You couldn't teach your sea monkeys tricks. Charles Atlas's book was not going to turn me from a 90-pound weakling into the giant on the beach. The X-ray goggles saw nothing. None of it. It was all lies. Call Miss Cleo now, and I'll give you your psychic reading, dude. And it wasn't even her. It was not. I guess. I mean, I don't know for sure. Might have been a fan. I named my daughter after her. I don't know. But that's why. And I'm making that video now. And that's a big part of it. We were lied to a lot. So now as adults, there's literally reports that have been issued. There's been studies made that say that Gen X is the toughest generation to sell to. See me on the playground at 3. Kathy Michelle, thank you so much for the stars. You guys are too cool. Thank you so much. I didn't realize what that sound was until just recently, so thank you for that. I'm sure there was fine print at the bottom of the screen. Who read it? Well, and Wirehead says 900 numbers were the 80s version of OnlyFans. Actually, in the 80s, they were fairly benign. It was the people we watched and wanted to get closer to that were talking. It was the 90s that it turned into the, pretty girl sitting on the couch alone in the dark next to the fireplace saying, call me. I'm here waiting. That happened in the 90s. Cleabert coming in from Brazil. 976 numbers. We have major trust issues. We take nothing at face value. And we go one step further. The other thing about us is that we were very counterculture. When Pepsi and Coke were fighting during the Pepsi challenge, we were drinking Dr. Pepper. If there was something that was counterculture, we liked it. If we were listening to a band, often we would love that band until we thought that they sold out. And by selling out means they actually started making some money. As soon as a band started getting popular, I remember when the Goo Goo Dolls started to break through. They started as a Buffalo band. And when they started to break out, a lot of people stopped listening to them. REM, I remember their early stuff. People loved it. As soon as, they started to get popular, Gen X wanted nothing to do with them. We did it over and over and over again. We like being on the inside track. Jolt Cola, love it. We love watching what nobody else is watching, buying what nobody else is buying. And I think that's still kind of true today. I actually have people that have come at me not that I'm anybody, because I'm not, but I've had people come at me in my direct messaging sometimes saying that my content has changed. They liked my content when I first started more, and now that I have followers, they don't like my content as much. And I'm thinking to myself, number one, there's no way I could have sold out. I'm not anywhere near big enough to have sold out anywhere. That's number one. Number two, I watch some of my early content. Some of it I repost. Some of it you couldn't pay me to repost. It's so bad. I don't know. Those of you that have been following me for a long time, I don't think it's changed all that much. I do a lot more stuff with other people now because I think it's funny. I like working with other people and playing off of their stuff. But I don't know. I think it's strange. I've gotten more of that. The more followers I get, the more I enjoy doing things like merch, going to conventions and seeing you guys in places like that. The more I hear that. Good then and good now, says Debbie. We're thankful. I'm more thankful for you than you are for me. I promise you. If I disappeared off of Facebook tomorrow, the truth of the matter is, if you love this content, you'd find someone else that does it similarly. I couldn't possibly do any of this without you guys. That's what you get for getting happier. I appreciate that, JT. Do I want to have a stroke? No. My opinion says, hey, I said content. I did. Is that a bad thing? Gen X's are our own breed. Stacy brings up RC Cola. I've always done a lot of different things. It's like, if anything, my page has always been more of a variety show than just me talking. Sometimes it's little skits. I mean, last week I had a wig and a dress on pretending my mother again. I haven't done one of those in a while. Sometimes it's making fun of Gen Z a little bit. Sometimes it's the compilations of our Saturday morning cartoons or our shows. I just enjoy doing whatever it is because I know different people like different parts of it. Will I take merch with me to the conventions? I'll wear it. I don't sell it directly. It drop ships through T Public. I couldn't do it nearly as, I mean, they're selling it for like 22 bucks, and I guess they give like, if you buy so much, they give different discounts, and you can probably find coupon codes. I couldn't do it for that amount and make it worthwhile or possible. I wouldn't want the stress of, I did it for a little while where I actually created it. And then unfortunately, it started doing well, and I couldn't keep up to save my life. Tammy Lane says, I love when you dress up like your mom. I like it too, but I take my life into my hands whenever I do it. My mom is generally less than impressed. When will we be in the future? Where will I be in the future? I can tell you that I am doing South Carolina Comic Con for 12 days, and I will be doing GalaxyCon in Raleigh. Those are the only two I know for sure. We need a wig soon, Jono. I just did it, if you haven't seen it. I've got two, Kristen. Maybe three? No, I've got two. Come to the Phoenix Comic Con. Grant, the closest I'm getting out that way is the other thing I am committing to doing is I've got to do some more research on it, but the Goonies 40th anniversary out in Oregon. I think I'm going to try to get out there for that. And then when there, I'm going to make a visit to Bend, Oregon to visit the Last Standing Blockbuster Video as well. Do Comic Palooza in Houston. I'm writing it down. For me to do them, I love the comic book side of it because I am a comic book geek. Yeah, Victor, I am absolutely planning a Buffalo visit. So we just actually bought tickets. My family, I am finally blessed enough to have been able to cobble together after many years of saving a trip overseas with my brothers and my mom and my kids and their families. And we're going to spend 3 weeks overseas in Greece. You guys will see some content from there, I am sure, because I'll still be working while I'm there. But we are flying to Athens on the first week in July 2nd, and we'll be there for 3 weeks. I have aunts and uncles that are getting on in years that I haven't seen in years. My kids have not met them. I want to see them. I want my kids to see them before we can't see them. We're getting to an age where we can't take for granted time and say, I will do it next year, or we'll go soon, or we'll go someday. So it's difficult. It hasn't been easy, but we're going to do it. So I will be overseas for about 3 weeks, July 2nd through like the 23rd, I think. So you will see some content from overseas. Hopefully that'll be cool. And then I'm going to work other things around. Trip to Buffalo, probably when we get back, first week in August, I'm thinking. Loved Athens, Greece. Also spent time in Crete. Most of my family's in Thessaloniki. I also have family in Florina, and in Chalkidiki. But most of my family is in Thessaloniki. Brush up on my Greek language skills. I'll brush up a lot while I'm there, I'm sure. Big Dave, I've never, as much as I went to Greece as a kid, because my parents took us many summers to see our grandparents and our aunts and our uncles. We would go to Greece a lot as kids. We never did the tourist thing. We went to see grandma. We went to see grandpa. We went to see cousins. So I never did the tourist thing. So we're definitely going to stay in Athens for a few days once we land, see a couple of the islands, see the Parthenon, see the Acropolis. And then after that, we are going to visit family. And then, yeah, so there's that. When is the Raleigh Comic Con? It's GalaxyCon. I've got another phone here. I'm just really excited. I'm excited that we're able to do that. Put me in your suitcase. I'm tiny. Sounds like you need to be a tourist for sure. It's just not, there was never any value in it from my parents' side because when we went, the sole purpose was to visit family. So, that was a big part of it. So we didn't go see any islands. I've never been to the Parthenon. Thanks, Arlene Dickerson's co-host of Dragon Den. I have no idea what that is, Darren. I'm sorry. But I'll be doing these Sunday lives from Greece. I might, let's see, 8 o'clock. Will be 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning over there. So we may have to tweak the time a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. GalaxyCon. Now watch this be while I'm in Greece. Yeah, it is July 24th through the 27th. So we'll just be getting home. I'll probably be there on the 26th and the 27th. So that'll be a tight squeeze for me, but I'm definitely going to try to do it. I'll just be getting home and then taking off again. I bought a great book on a classic genre movies, The Main Train Station in Athens. The Sisterhood of Traveling Pants is a good show for Cleo in a year or so. That is a guy. I have friends that have seen the movie. So yeah, Raleigh is going to be right after we get home. It's going to be a tough transition, but I'm still committed to doing it. I'm just still waiting to hear back from them. You're a walking, talking flashbacks machine. Thank you, Con. I appreciate that. Do I still live at home with mom and dad? No, Evil, although I would if they're willing to pay to keep me there. Don't mix up slang yes in English and Greek. No mixed up. I think it was na or something like that. Greek for yes is ne, which sounds like na in English. So yeah, the Greek word ne means yes, and ochi means no. So ne sounds like ne, which is no, but it's yes. Well, thank you for popping in, the lady. Thank you so much. Website for my events. I don't have one yet. It's on deck. 2026, I'm really committing to putting events together. It's the first one I ever did was going to MegaCon in Orlando just a couple months ago. Michelle Orr, thank you for coming into the Uncanny X-Men, Gen X-Men and Gen X Women. So yeah, we'll see. Appreciate that, LA. Kick whoever knocked you down in the junk on the way back up, too. It's all good. Everything is all good. If you do your live at midnight in Greece, you'll be on at 6 p.m. That's probably going to work, Matt. So in July, we'll probably see me move up Sunday night's Wonderful World of Gen X to 6 p.m., and that'll still work. Why don't they try to remake I Love Lucy? Could you imagine? I think they got it. I don't know. I don't know that I would like that. Say hi to Adamis for me. We're Gen X, not Gen Z. Mom lives with us if we're lucky. Yeah, well, that's true too. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. I don't think we should mess with the originals like they're doing today. I don't think they should need to. I mean, what's the premise of I Love Lucy, right? It's a couple. You could have them be like that and have one be, strictly American, one an immigrant, living in an apartment with two of their best friends. They could remake that a million different ways without it being I Love Lucy. I mean, basic premises can be reused. That's why tropes exist, right? I don't have a problem with somebody taking an idea and saying, you know what, I'm going to modernize that idea. Just give it a different name and just do it your way, because you're going to change it anyway. If they remade I Love Lucy, it wouldn't be I Love Lucy. They would change too much anyway. So as long as you're changing a lot, change the name too. That way you don't have to make anybody angry. I don't have a problem with them reusing ideas. I also don't have a problem with sequels if they're done well. I loved seeing what happened in Maverick. I loved the fact that we got to see Ice, which I wasn't expecting, given what's going on with Val Kilmer. I think they did a good job with it. I loved especially the way it ended, Cobra Kai. I think they did a great job of revisiting what we loved about The Karate Kid. Same cast. It's just, if it's the same thing as saying, you know what, I liked Back to the Future. I liked Back to the Future 2 and 3. These are sequels they just took 30, 40 years to get to. Just do a good job with it. There's good sequels and there's bad. Yeah, just do a new thing or revisit it and keep the... I mean, Three's Company, if anybody says you shouldn't redo Three's Company, right, J6 or JG? saying can't do Three's Company was another show already. Man About the House from England. It was an English show that they just changed the name. They took the idea and went with it. That happens a lot. Take care, T. Gray. Appreciate you, buddy. There is a Lucy Museum in the Bradford area of PA. There's one not too far from where I was in Buffalo, Jamestown, New York. I would love a good recipe for authentic Greek moussaka. Problem is, most like my mom who makes moussaka, my wife that makes moussaka, they really don't follow recipes. They just wing it. Roadhouse was horrible. I didn't even see it. I didn't like that they remade it. What's going on, Jay? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? I didn't like that they turned him into an MMA fighter, and I don't like it. Don't change it. Leave it alone. What time have we got, y'all? It's got to be pushing 9 o'clock, right? They tried with Wonder Years. And Edward, you know what? But I liked it. So Edward, what they did with Wonder Years wasn't horrible, in my opinion. Because all they did is the tie-in wasn't the family, it was the time. So Wonder Years, the new one, said, let's check in and see what was happening with a different family back then. Same era. And it happened to be a black family. So it showed a different experience. It was still funny. It was still well written. There were a couple tie-ins that paid homage to the original. I kind of actually liked the new Wonder Years. It didn't do well. I think a lot of people looked at it as a remake. And I don't think it was a remake. I think it was a side-by-side. They just showed another family from that time. So I kind of liked it, to be honest. My mom didn't know there was a Black Wonder Years. Yeah, the idea was, again, let's check in on a different family. And I liked that idea because that era, I think they could continue to remake the Wonder Years because the Wonder Years were those years in the late 60s, early 70s that seemed to stretch all the way through the 70s. My 13-year-old, as I said, is watching it now. We're on the last season. And her big thing is that what it was like when you grew up? And I grew up 10 years later from when that show was shown. And it still resonates. It still felt like that. I would agree with that, Boston. I think a lot of people took it that way. New Quantum Leap, Cindy Buckner brings up, also good. Again, they didn't remake it. They didn't write over our version. They didn't erase our history. That's what we hate. Don't erase our history. Don't erase what we had. And even if they don't intend to, when there is a second Roadhouse, it gets made over the top of ours. And that's what we don't like. I like the Cosby Show too. Unfortunately, because of that, because of Bill, who was amazing on the show, and his horrible failings as a human being, people try to wipe out the Cosby Show. I loved the Cosby Kids, Fat Albert, but people have a hard time with it. Number one, Fat Albert, they're saying, was just in and of itself fat shaming. They're missing what was amazing about the show. And you could be a horrible human being and still do something right. And Bill Cosby did that right. Fat Albert was done right. The Cosby Show was done right. Bill Cosby's comedy routine, Bill Cosby himself, was done right. He was just a horrible human being. I sold lemonade? Maybe. Cosby Show's odd, though, because the name was Huxtable. Fair enough. 1 second. My daughter asked me, thank you for the stars, Kathy. My daughter asked me if I was alive during the Civil War. Ouch. Cleo! Cleo! I'm gonna catch flack. I'm gonna sign off, and then she's gonna say, "Hey, Jill." She's gonna say, "You didn't ask me to come on, or you didn't tell me you were on." That's why I'm trying to see if she wants to jump on before I sign off. What's the show with rerun on it? What's happening? Good night, Doreen. Hey, Record Hound, didn't see you sneak in. You're not that old. Kids that age don't have a grasp on time yet. They have a very difficult time imagining anything in the 1900s. And I wonder if we were born on a cusp like that, if it would do the same thing to us. Yes, peace. I am in my 50s. I'm 55. I appreciate that, Boston J. Thank you very much. New Night Court is dumb. Yeah, it didn't catch me. I didn't watch it. I watched a couple episodes of the Frasier when it came back. It was okay. Didn't do it for me. I don't know. Neither of those really worked for me. I've heard they were decent. Now I have proof that I tried to holler for Cleo. Exactly. I did what I could, right? And I'm loud, so for her not to hear me. Happy birthday next Sunday, peace. Just a youngin'. I'll take that. Well, that's the thing. A lot of us Gen Xers have crossed over to the next threshold. We used to be the oldest young people in the room. We were the high school seniors. Now we're the youngest old people in the room. We're the college freshmen. And I think that's the way I look at it. So we were the old young people. Now we're the young old people. And I'll take anything that says that I'm young in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely, Victor. Like I said, I'm hoping for August. That way we can catch at least a preseason Bills game. If not, we might even go into September to try to catch an actual game. Thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate the stars. Guys, those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for the super chats, for the tips, for the donations, for signing up and joining the page. All totally supporting me, and I appreciate it so much. Facebook, any of you that subscribed tonight, thank you so much. Those that sent stars, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. If you have a chance and you like merch, if you like things that are nostalgic, that talk about Gen X or talk about the years we were born, do I remember you all right? I learned it by watching you. Oh, dude, of course I remember that. Holy moly, do I remember that. I mean, talk about calling out our boomer parents in that era, because think about it, these former hippies, for a lot of young Gen Xers at least, became the adults in the room, and they're like, where did you learn this? Well, guess what? And I knew those parents. I had friends who had parents that were the cool parents, and we'd go to their house, and the parents would be drinking beer with us, would be getting stoned in the corner at times. I mean, those parents were out there. Learned it by watching you. So I was saying, before I had to take a second and say thank you over there, that if you like this kind of stuff, nostalgic stuff, or just want to look at it, I appreciate the traffic. Jump over to genxjono.dashery.com, or follow the link on my link tree. Trying to read the last of these comments. Make sure we caught up. Getting goodbyes. I will see you guys next, probably on YouTube, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll try to go live from the bar. And then Friday at 5:30 p.m., the wonderful world of Gen X pivots, and we do our podcast with two other friends, and that's called the Three View Mirror. Also on my Facebook, on my YouTube page. Only a few hours away from Greenville. I'll take a chance at meeting up with you, John. I'll be there. I'll give you more details as things go. So Tuesday or Wednesday, it's up in the air. Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube for the Three View Mirror. And then I will see you back here Sunday night, 8 o'clock, on the wonderful world of Generation X. From Charlotte, South Carolina side of things, just 20 minutes south of there, this is GenX Jono, John Kotrides signing off, saying peace, guys. Be good. Stay totally awesome. And I'll see you on the flip side.